Hello. All right, we're back.
Are we now?
All right, hello, we're back. It is working. Test. Okay, it's working. Okay. Okay, we're back. Hello. Hello. Go back on Twitch here, Discord, and notify everybody again. All right, we're back, and I think it should be working now. Hello, everybody. Yo, thanks for the follow. Steezy the Architect, thank you for the follow. Titan VCD, thank you for the follow. Y'all, first time in your Twitch, was told about you guys by The Watch. Oh, shit.
Oh, nice. Shout out to The Watch. Shout out to John, Soso, and the whole team over there.
Neighborhood Watch. So we were talking about this. So I brought the Oz, Elmo, and Big Bird back.
Oh, nice. Thought something looked different in there.
So one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna unsew the top of Big Bird's head, and we're gonna stick a chopstick down his head.
Oh yeah, just so he stops doing this.
Yeah, because he's got a droopy neck.
You know, you could just stitch the back of his. Oh no. You know, it was funny. I went to a client's house the other day, and I was helping him move a couple things that they just didn't want anymore. And apparently they had, was it all of Sesame Street that Cos did? Or was it just Big Bird and Elmo? Yeah, I think they had the entire collection. And they just threw it into storage.
Oh, who did this?
I'm not saying. But it was still nonetheless kind of sadly impressive. Because there was even collectibles I saw that I was like, damn. They have all 3 Pokemon starters in the large pop forms. They're like this. But now I have 2 of them at my store. I put them on top of... But the world of collectors, doesn't matter what they're collecting, is always so interesting. They can make a collector's item of anything.
Here.
What is that?
What up? Excuse me. Holy
Delicious.
crap.
Can I whiff that in?
Holy crap. You guys are dope. Thank you. Can't have that droopy neck. No, for real. The little Big Bird in the back. I wish I could just zoom in. But yeah, we're a little bit behind today. I think we also have now, we're on live stream. Whenever we live stream, we'll be able to live stream, invite people onto the podcast, and do interviews now. We're gonna be able to do interviews now from hold on. But we're going to be able to do interviews now on the stream as well. So whenever we interview someone, they'll be able to come up onto the live stream and talk and hang out with us, which is going to be really, really cool and interesting. That keyboard, man. Thank you, Audistry. Yeah, this is dope, huh? It's a little bit too bright right now. Let me...
No, it's not.
Let me turn down the brightness so you can really see it. Like, it's this. If I turn down the brightness, you can really... Because right now, this is like too low for me, for real life, but like in camera, this looks really, really bright. Doesn't that look dope? It's just the outside right now. And then I'm adding in lights today. Only part of it light up, but you can see like the white LEDs coming up from the top of the board. I need to finish it and solder these in. So these are not done. So there's only a few keys that are lit up. Yeah, it's starting to look really, really good. I'm really excited. Super keyboard nerd. All right, what compressor do you like to use for parallel compression? Trying to find a good one for my vocals.
What's your vocal style? I feel like that's a big factor. I feel like a loud vocalist would get parallel compression and like a soft.
Yeah. Nah, you definitely want to like use your ears and pick one that works for you. But my personal favorites are Purple, the MC77 or the Purple 1176 Unplugging Alliance. I often don't even use that parallel. I just give a touch of that. I love what it does to the mid-range. Also, the opposite of what it does to the mid-range is Fairchild 670 Legacy Edition on UAD. Love what that one does to the mid-range on vocals. Great for parallel or directly on the bus. Leslie, that's a Leslie Brathwaite trick. Really, really great option there. Yeah, super dope. All right. Yo, what up, Gavin McMahon? What up? Congrats.
It's McMahon.
What up? And well, thanks for joining the stream. Congratulations on the release of Magnets. Really grateful that went through.
Right. Yeah.
What else? Yeah, thanks for joining us, Gavin. I heard Gavin came to LA this last week just for a day to record a string session in the studio here. So
I'm actually kind of sad.
Why are you sad?
By to say hi.
It sounded like it was just like a last minute thing.
I mean, I'm a last minute thing, and
oh my gosh!
I'm just saying, Kevin, I'm hurt.
Let's see. DK and Lou bobbleheads, Funko Pops.
Actually, damn it, you guys ruined it. I was actually planning on. I was gonna be a gift to the two of us. I was gonna make Funko Pops of the two of us.
Really?
Of our icons.
I'm just gonna. Oh, okay. Because if we do that, I'm gonna paint the eyeballs with some white circles so it doesn't look like voids in your face.
Dude, did you see the Pokemon that I have above my desk? Oh my god.
But I do have a bobblehead here though. This is another thing I brought back from the studio. Check this out. Definitely the most underappreciated decoration in the studio, so I brought it back for myself and anybody.
Hey, I appreciated it, but not our clients.
If anybody knows Joe Dart from Wolfpack.
But these are the eyes on Pokemon on the monitors. And so they actually don't look bad when you see it in the light, with like the lamps and everything. But they're giant blacked out eyes, right? Yeah, when I turned off the lights last night when I went home, and all that was lighting the Pokemon's faces was the street lamp from outside going through the window. I kid you not, there's nothing more terrifying than looking at those damn Pokemon as I leave the room. They almost look like they're watching you.
Yeah. Like, I had the pop that our intern Marcus gave us. The Doraemon. Yeah, the Doraemon. I put it on top of the speaker, but like, my wife and I, we just agreed that it looked like it was like trying to send a curse to us. Like it was some doing voodoo magic. And it was like, being Japanese in a country where figurines and figures are extremely popular, I think I have the right to say that I think Funko Pops are some of the ugliest figurine designs ever, and it's astounding and hysterical to me at the same time, and incredible that they're so popular and have resale value. Like they're so popular that you can resell them. You can make money from buying and reselling them, which blows my mind because
that's
to me as a to me as a Japanese person, those will never ever ever be popular in Japan. They're just too damn ugly. Way too ugly. It scares me. It's like voodoo. It's like cursing you with their blacked out eyes. They hate it. But it's so amazing. It's so
the weird thing is
crazy.
There's a market for almost, like I said, almost anything can become a collectible. Yeah. I went on a little rabbit hole on eBay, like looking up different pop figures and all that kind of stuff. And apparently there's like a very similar brand that does other collectibles, is similar in style, but a little more realistic. Well, upon that rabbit hole, I also stumbled upon, like, I guess, waifu statues or something of that nature. Like, they're just like overly enhanced collectible statues that are about like this tall.
Oh no, this is also America. Okay, this is
No, that's just horrifying.
This is horrifying. This is also American figurines.
Yeah.
If you remember, this is
Oh my God.
the LOL.
That one looks like it
the
threw up all over
LOL
its face.
surprise. The LOL baby dolls.
What the hell's on the
This
right?
is so not Japanese. This is also just incredibly terrifying. But these are also very popular right now. This is so scary. I'm terrified. So, yeah. Oh, not intermission. There you go. It's just kind of funny that lose noise gate. It should be better, right? I think I fixed it. Lose noise gate.
I don't know.
Anyway, we're about to record some episodes of the podcast. Thanks for joining in. This is probably the last time that we'll be doing 2 episodes in one sitting. I think after this, we'll start to do 1 episode per sitting and try to make them a little bit longer because I know lots of people have requested longer episodes. One of the things that we can do actually is I can set up a poll. Hold on, how do I do that? Manage a poll, create a poll, new poll. Question: should we have longer or shorter podcast episodes?
I think you should put a time range within each option.
Yeah, it'd be like 10. We'll do like 10 to 25 minutes to, or like we'll do like 30 to 60 minutes, and then we'll do like 60 or
60 to 120.
60 to 120 plus minutes. All right. 0 bits. 1 bit to vote. Duration 2 minutes. Start poll. We have a poll going right now. Go ahead and vote. You have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to vote. Should we have longer podcast episodes? Or should we have shorter podcast episodes? This is the end-all poll. We're never, ever going to talk about this ever again after we get these. I'm teasing. But this is your choice right now. So technically speaking, 25 to 60 minutes is it's a dead zone. Because people either want short form podcasts because they don't have enough time, or they want really long form podcasts because they're going to be washing the dishes forever or whatever. They're doing chores forever. So it's usually, so statistically speaking, technically speaking, theoretically speaking, 25 to 60 minutes is a no man's land dead zone. But we might find out that that's what everybody wants. And most of the time, we're supposed to stay around 22 minutes. 22 minutes is the technical, theoretical magic number for short-form podcasts, like 22 minutes or less. But Lou and I suck at doing episodes for 22 minutes. When I first started doing it by myself, I was able to keep it within 22 minutes, but it's crazy. Mo from the Foe says, at some point, can y'all incorporate a lesson on multiband compression and the significance of it in an episode? I find oftentimes when mixing, I get frustrated with not knowing exactly what I'm doing and then find as many ways as possible to try to avoid it. Some engineers I follow swear by it and say that it is all you need, and some others kind of shrug it off. So I rarely ever... Well, go ahead.
I think we actually spoke about that last week.
I think we talked about multiband limiting. Just a touch, but
We
didn't need to talk about
multiband limiting, yeah.
And then also, but to be honest, I've used it in different points of my career lifetime as an engineer, but recently I haven't really been using multiband. Oh, the winner is by 7 votes, 30 to 60 minutes.
Sounds like we're on.
Hold on, Button Girl Jenny says contributed 200 channel points. What? Okay, so nobody voted for shorter or longer. Everybody wants the 30, 60 minutes.
It sounds unanimous.
Well, all right. Well, it sounds like
we're
never
talking about this again.
We're never talking about this again. Damn. All right.
Yeah, on multiband, I use it all the time personally, but I tend to use it more as like a taming of frequencies that are maybe a little plosive in nature. For instance, like when people get too close to the mic, your low mids tend to be very transient. And if you tend to have, like, let's say about 4 to 6 inches away from the mic, your low mids don't tend to be as much of an issue. You know, they tend to be a lot smoother naturally, but when you're like this, every little thing starts to stand out. So multiband compression I've used a lot for artists that I've noticed like record right up against the capsule.
I do a lot of dynamic EQ, which is basically just smaller Q or wider Q versions of. It's just a different shape, different bandwidth shape of multiband compression, but I use that a lot. Also,
a lot less control unless you're using the F6 from Waves. I've noticed that one gives you a lot of control for a dynamic EQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do use that on my vocals sometimes. So, but anyway, Gavin says, "Here's my question of the day because it just happened to me and it happens all the time." Lol. This is a valid question. I already read through it, but I'm going to read it out loud. When you're just about to start a mix, pull up an A/B plugin and the reference, or so you just reference the project you're about to start. And the reference makes the project you're about to start sound terrible, just plain bad, and you can't put your finger on what the differences really are. How do you make your first steps? Too long didn't read. What do you do when your mix sounds like trash compared to a reference and it's not obvious why? It's just worse. And you said this is pre-mix, so this is before you start?
Mm-hmm.
So if that's the case, I think this is actually a really valid question. In fact, this could actually go into a podcast episode. We can make this a podcast episode. Mm-hmm. How to use a reference and how to properly reference. Because I think a lot of people on Mixed Feedback Fridays or on personal or just in general, Lou and I, we've done thousands upon thousands of mixed feedback, or at least I have. I've done thousands and thousands, and probably Lou as well, of mixed feedback for very many people. Maybe not thousands. I'll say hundreds. I'm definitely in the thousands, but I'll say hundreds in the mixed feedback here. And it's incredibly obvious when you didn't reference. And I'm not saying because of like the tonal balance, like it's more about, these vocals are not even close to being loud enough.
Or they're too
there's no or the opposite. Like it's more about volumes and levels. It's more about vibe and it's sometimes it is tonal balance. Like I think in general it's like, all right, you have way too much low end because the reference has significantly less low end, or vice versa, right? I think it's the one thing that you have going against you is that in order to make it sound exactly like the reference, it's going to be almost impossible unless you have the same exact arrangement, like the same exact synths, the same exact vocalist and room, and everything's the same. Like, because even if you recreate the same arrangement with the same exact microphone, but you just do it in a different studio or in a different room, it's going to sound different. So, and if you did it with a different vocalist as a cover, but you did exactly the same arrangement, but it's still going to sound different. So, there's only so much that you can take a reference, but at the same time, I think references are really great for broad strokes. Really great for broad strokes, not great for specific strokes.
Yeah.
What do you think, Lou?
I think it's more about understanding what you're applying and if you're going overboard with certain elements. For instance, I'm sure you've done this too, where you send out the mix, you think the mix is well balanced and everything, but sometimes you'll get the request like, hey, can I get, we'll say like more kick, right? But at a certain point, like that kick is too loud. They want more and more, but in relation to what is in their genre, what is actually, seen as good balance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's completely way out. You play a reference, it's like, see, their kick is a lot quieter, but it hits harder. It's like, okay, well, you also have different types of kicks. You have transient kicks, you have fluffy, low, pillowy kind of kicks. You have 808s that are a little bit higher in range. Maybe they're like around 100, 120, maybe all the way up to 200 hertz, because they're more of a like synth-based kind of 808 versus like your sub low frequency Terrace Martin style bass. And getting good references sometimes is more about getting the right feel and vibe to reference versus your general reference. Like, I'm not going to reference Kiana Lede to mix G-Eazy. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think references are important. It's also important not to take things too seriously. I think in the early stages of growing your how do you say, your database of techniques, because I think it's more like you have an entire, what's the word I'm looking for? Like you have an entire cache of techniques that you can use and different sounds that you can create. I think that's important to develop through experimenting while referencing. You're not going to be able to get it to sound the same. And the point of the reference there is not to make you feel bad. The point of the reference is to kind of remind you of the boundaries that you are in.
Yeah.
Remind you of what's acceptable and what's not. Are the vocals too loud? Are they too bright? Are they too quiet?
Yeah.
It's you're not going to get it to sound anywhere near the same. It's more about reminding you of the boundaries that you are playing within.
Not only that, but you can always chalk up the conversation to creative differences. I've heard that in the past. It's like, well, I feel like for my sound, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, and that's okay. Not everybody is supposed to sound like everybody else's track. So references are great, like you said, for the boundaries. But if yours doesn't sound like that, that's fine. Maybe that's part of your specific sound.
So do we want to talk about, so the question is, do we want to talk about how to use reference tracks for the podcast episode? The very first one that we're going to do here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good topic, to be honest.
I mean, we can do that. That's not a problem.
What's up, Braden Flint? What's up, Braden? Also, how's the music in the background? Y'all digging the music in the background? I can leave the music on, or I could turn it down.
Or we can switch it to death
or
metal.
turn it off. When we record, it doesn't matter because we're not recording the music. It's more for y'all. Do you like the music? Yes? Nah? Also, Lou, if you want to keep just talking real quick at your regular talking volume, as if we're recording the podcast, I'm going to get your volume.
Sure. Test 1, 2. Hey. Test.
Okay, we're good.
1,
I think
2.
we're good.
Cool.
All right. So we can talk about referencing. Gavin McMahon, the references for broad strokes things makes a ton of sense. Maybe the question is more like, how do you... hold on. Maybe the question is more like, how do you go about polishing... It seems like most mixes these days are with wet stems that sound pretty good already. When you receive something like this, how do you go about taking it a step further? I watched this Derek Ali video where he was taking stems that sounded awesome but somehow found ways to make them even better. I know that's what DK has done with my stuff. How do you go about it? It's a combination of different things. I think one is it is inevitable the higher level up you go and the longer you do music, the better your stems are going to be for mixing.
Yeah.
And the more experience that you have. I think Shane Lance at the last seminar said this really well. Like, sometimes the label or the artist pays you to, like, give them the okay. Like, you may not do much, and even if you listen to, like, a before and after, there's, like, they're very rare and very hard to find, but on the internet you could find a before and after of a Weezer song when with Serban Ganea mixing it. It's very, very minimal changes. Super minimal changes. It's due to a lot of experience, specifically mixing, and there's a lot of experience. You can't negate experience. And then also, I think the hardest skill to attain for any engineer is the ability to know when not to do something, which is an ability. And I think the more you pay for an engineer, the more they're gonna be able to do less and less. But anyway, so and Derek Ali. So Shane says, so sometimes they're paying you to have a professional opinion, someone professional to say, yeah, that's good, and they don't want much changes. Sometimes they need a lot. Lou, what do you think?
That's kind of basically it, realistically. Like, even in mastering, a lot of times the guys you're paying the most to, they'll have two options for you. They could either enhance but keep it the same, or keep it the same and make sure it's not poking out. Correct a few things, but don't change the mix, or enhance the mix without changing the mix. But that usually comes from having a good mix. A lot of mastering engineers will just send the mix back if it's not great. In mixing, the cool thing is that, you're kind of being hired to, like you said, have that professional opinion. But even on top of that, let's say you have to make some extreme changes. The reality is that's kind of up to judgment. Like, if you have good stems, who knows? You're basically getting paid to find a way to make it better. It's not that right out the bat, like, oh, I heard this kick drum, I hear everything that's wrong with it or everything that's right with it. It's just, let's listen to it in relation with the mix. Every song is different, so our approach is different every time. And like you said, it comes down to experience. So there's not one flat way of actually polishing something that's already great. It's just a matter of listening to it, understanding what the artist's intention is with it, and then trying to deliver on that. Yeah.
All right. Also, Mix Medic. I'm gonna go grab some blankets to cover the windows again because it's messing up the colors. I keep forgetting. I need to get curtains for these windows. Some like blackout curtains. It's making the room orange. It's supposed to be dark purple, which is like a lavenderish. All right. Anyway, this is a good question. I think I think we already know what the answer is just because of our specific circle. Mixmedic says, what DAW seems to be the most frequently used in your circles? Lou, I'm gonna go get the blankets if you wanna talk about that.
Cubase.
Huh? Cubase is commonly used. Cubase and Logic is commonly used for composers.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's Pro Tools, 100%.
No, it's not. It's Logic.
For produce.
No, just kidding. It is Pro Tools. No, yeah. He's going to get some blankets. Let's see what else is going on. But yeah, no, as far as DAWs go, like everybody always has the question of, you know, what's the best thing to actually learn or use or whatever. Use whatever you want, but if you're looking to work in a commercial location, Pro Tools. Everyday Pro Tools, all day Pro Tools. But if you're doing it to not work in a commercial location, but rather produce your own stuff, mix your own stuff, do your own projects, and you're your own boss and nobody else is hiring you to go anywhere else, use whatever you want. At the end of the day, even if, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, if they're not hiring you to go somewhere else. Yeah. If you have to go to Paramount does not have Ableton on their main computer running through their HDX system that they spent $10,000 on just for the first 16 channels. You know, these studios spent crazy amounts of money to have the best possible option for them, which, you know, when you go dollar for dollar, yeah, Pro Tools HDX isn't cheap, but you're not going to find a system that works smoother and better with high number counts and high requirements in such a commercial location anywhere. But honestly, if I could, I'd maybe use Logic. I'll be honest. Like, I like Logic. I came from Cubase, and when I went to Pro Tools, I was like, what the hell is this? Like, I really didn't like Pro Tools for a long, long time. And then I just kind of got used to it because at a certain point, you just had to bite your tongue and just say, screw it. I have to learn it because this is what my clients are paying me to do. Let's see.
I accidentally stepped on some cables, so I was just making sure I didn't unplug anything.
Excellent answer. Use whatever. Also, well explained. Thank you. No. Thank you. Also,
we're about to start recording. But anyway, yeah, there's... Hold on. Let me reread this one out loud. When you two are mixing... Hold on, this is important. When you two are mixing a 2-track beat, what would be the best thing to do to balance the beat and the vocals? Of course, we need to gain stage the beat, but should there be any AQ compression on the beat? And for the overall balance, should the meter be hitting -6, -10? I hear a lot of people say keep it at -6 or -10. What should be the correct number if there's a correct number?
honestly, this one's kind of easy to answer, at least for me, because what I've done works every time for me. But everybody's approach is different. Everybody's needs are different. But if you have an EQ that can do mid-side on it, just focus on where the vocal range is and what exactly is being clouded up in your mix for the vocal, or what it seems to be taking its attention, and take that out of the center if you're trying to focus up the lead vocal. If there is a lot going on transient wise, let's say that the drums are really hard hitting and loud, you could use something like Ozone Master Rebalance to bring down the drums, because sometimes that happens. You get a 2-track and the drums hit harder than anything else in the track, and then it's so much so that like the vocals are trying to compete with the drums. So, you know, you could do that too. But honestly speaking, majority of the time when you get a track from a good producer who knows how to mix his own stuff fairly well, a simple mid-side EQ like the Pro Q3 is actually really good, especially if you were to just take something like, for instance, if I were to do like a male vocal, I'll probably take around 700 hertz, maybe 600 hertz out of the 2-track in the midsection. And that actually opens up a lot of the chest tones for the vocals to really shine through without having to really compress or boost anything on the vocal. Like, the more I can take away without taking away too much, the better, because then the vocals naturally sit a lot easier in the track. But that's the issue with 2-tracks. You don't always get that luxury.
So I think the only correct answer for that is do what is necessary.
Yeah.
But to know what is necessary or what can help is the trick, right? So yeah, doing mid-side stuff is one way to do it. There's different ways to do it. The point is, whatever you do, if you do anything, I think sometimes people do too much, for sure. Oftentimes when a mix is having problems, this is like, someone said this on their story, another bigger engineer, I forgot who it was, but someone said this, I read this, like, if your mix is starting to sound bad, it's probably because you're doing too much.
Yeah.
So there's that. So do as much as necessary, but only as much as necessary. And do everything intentionally. I talk about that a lot with mixing. Like, everything has to be super intentional. Like, you never should do anything because someone said, in theory, you should do this. Nah, theory and practical are totally different. So -6, -10, sure. Give it the point is give it headroom. Does it have to be -6 or -10? No. The point is, if you do -6 or -10, it probably won't be clipping. Does that make sense? So remember the principle there. So, but there's difference. There's principle, there's theory, and there's practical. Like, that's kind of how I think about it. So the theory is keep it at -6, -10. That should be good enough. The principle is give headroom, leave headroom. The practical is, nah, you don't need to leave it at -6 or -10. You can be -1, but that's probably cutting it too close because you don't have enough headroom, you know? And if you do too low, you know, so it's very different there. So just remember those. People focus too much on the theory, and then so much so that they forget the principle, and then it doesn't, and they find out it takes years for them to find out it's not practical at all. So, all right. So we're gonna go into talking about. Actually, that's a good episode too. Theory versus practical versus
creative.
Yeah, theory, practical, principle. I think that's a really good episode idea. Usually I just talk about theoretical, and practical, because I those are two different, but I do think principles are important too. Like, why did someone teach that? Mm-hmm. Why does someone say to high pass everything? Mm-hmm. Let's do that. That's a really good technical episode. I think that's a really good way for people to like increase their learning capabilities. Let's do that. Is that cool? So like, I think we should talk about, and anybody in the chat for this episode to work, I think keep talking about rules or theories that you hear people on YouTube say. Like, for example, I high pass everything, or high pass 300 hertz for vocals. And we'll talk about the theory, the practical, and the principle. I think this is actually going to be a really good episode if y'all like interact with us and kind of give us ideas of what has been said online. Because, yeah, it's been... All right, here we go. All right, we are now recording. Hello and welcome back to the Mix of Music Podcast. I am your host DK, and with me, as always, is Limitless Lou.
I think we might have already used that one.
Crap. Well, whatever. It's Limitless Lou. And you know what? Ian, or Kid in the Box, has now been interviewed. He said when he sent in his resume and cover letter to interview with us, he also sent in a doc file of all the potential Lou nicknames, and I should have pulled that up before we started recording.
Actually, no, it's too late.
But yeah, it's too late now, but we'll do it for the next one. But Limitless Lou, welcome back to the show. Glad to have you back, because I know for a couple episodes you weren't here. But today we have a very good episode. This should help you on your learning journey as you have a lot of experience, as you gain experience and learn how to become a better engineer, a better producer, better mixer, better songwriter, blah, 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 just better in life. This is something that whenever people ask me questions about specific technical things, I try to answer them in 2 or 3 different categories. And we're going to talk about that today. How to separate something that you learn on the internet into 3 distinct categories. And this is just the way that I think about it. I'm sure that there are books and researchers have shown that there are better ways to categorize things, but this is just one way that I do it. I categorize everything that I learn into practical, principle, and theory. So for example, and we're having anybody on Twitch right now. So we're live on Twitch at twitch.tv/DKMixes if you want to hang out with us Mondays at 2 p.m., starting at 2 p.m. But we were talking about this, like, for example, on YouTube, there used to be a lot of people that say high pass everything. Okay, so the theory is high pass everything. Okay, what is the principle behind that? The principle behind that is we don't want too much low end across a lot of tracks, because that can really lower the headroom, or it can... Yeah, you'll have less headroom by the time you get to master fit. It'll also make your low end really rumbly. So that's the the principle, right? To clean up the low end. Now, practically, is it practical to high pass everything?
No, not really.
All right, that was a really quick answer. So,
I mean, it's plain and simple for me, just because of one reason. If you're going to high pass everything, a lot of people assume that also means that it's a fixed frequency, which is the other part of that theory that was going around on YouTube. Everybody always said cut at 80 hertz, cut at 120, cut at 100. But it was always different numbers, but it seemed to be very absolute comments that people were making about that frequencies. You know, they'd say, oh, I always high pass my vocals at 100, which is great, but here's another theory on that. Now you're starting to create buildups in those frequency ranges. So the principle is now starting to be lost in that theory.
yeah. So Braden Flint Master says, okay, mastering to -9 LUFS, for example. Okay, the theory is, and what they say is, you want to master everything to around -9, maybe -8, maybe -10 LUFS, which is loudness units full scale. If you want to look up what that means, if you don't understand what that means, it's the dynamic range. Mastering engineers will use this a lot. It's basically the average volume between the peaks and the valleys of the waveform. So how loud it is, an audio is. So the theory is keep it around -9 LUFS. What is the principle behind -9? I think the principle is you want it to be as loud as possible without losing your dynamics, without losing the perception of dynamics.
It wasn't necessarily that at the start, though. The main reason was that CDs were being printed at that, and the actual headroom of a disc was ranging around there. So before you could actually print too loud onto a CD, which could actually go louder, most manufacturing standards would actually request -9 to keep consistency a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, or whatever that is, right? So with CDs, because it was its own thing, if the first song is mastered at -15, that means the rest of them will be -15.
Yeah.
I don't think -9, that's more of like, I feel like that's more of a streaming thing from my experience. Because LUFS, as long as it's within the same range for the entire project, then that's fine. That's why we hear a lot of records where on the album, it's really quiet compared to other songs on different albums, but the album is very consistent. Yeah. And some songs are also way too loud. So okay, so what is the practical, though? Is -9 a good number for every single, even within, we'll just stick within one genre. Okay, we'll say hip-hop. Is -9 actually practical for every single hip-hop song that you come across?
Yes.
Really?
Yes, consistency. I'm not saying that it's the best option. I'm not saying that it's the worst option. I'm just saying that, practically speaking, if you wanted your song to compete, maintaining a consistent volume across your playlist, even if it wasn't Spotify where they normalize everything. Let's just say that somebody threw a compilation CD together and they listen to a Drake song, and then your song's coming in 2 loops quieter or 2 loops louder, then it's just different. And if it's quieter, the issue is that now people assume that that's less quality because the average consumer assumes louder is better. Now, as engineers, we want more dynamics, we want more headroom, we want clarity, we don't want distortion. So we tend to actually go for lower, but we're not the average consumer. We're not who we are marketing to. So I'd rather shoot for consistency and not lose a potential demographic rather than, oh my God, I need this headroom. I absolutely have to be quieter. For instance, I'm mastering a jazz album and they're actually requesting it to be lower than 10 loops.
That's pretty normal for jazz and classical.
Exactly,
like,
but that's normal for them.
Yeah, so here's the thing, and this is okay. This is actually a really great conversation that we're gonna have. I'm actually gonna disagree a lot.
Okay.
And the reason is because, for example, I did my first lesson. I started promoting lessons, and I gave Braden, who is one of the students for the lessons that I do with one-on-one, I gave him a trick hip hop song. It was actually a song that the entire song is no drums except for the chorus. So if you get it -9 on a hip hop track because of the arrangement, it's gonna distort the crap out of the chorus.
Yeah.
And you cannot get -9 without destroying it.
Yeah.
Because most of the song doesn't have drums, so there's nothing to actually give it. So this is why I disagree. I think that if in the same category of there's something playing the entire time, drums and bass are consistent across the entire time, I would agree. And I think that in general, the theory is, I think you hit the theory right on the head. In theory, you want to be able to do that. But some songs don't have drums or only have hi-hats or don't have any sort of bass line. Or some songs have droning bass rather than percussive bass, where droning bass is going to really lower your LUFS and might have the same perceived loudness as a -7 LUFS, even though you're only hitting -9. It sounds like you might be hitting -7, but it sounds like you're hitting -9.
Yeah.
The same volume as something else mastered -9. So that's why I say no. In practical, you're going to find it's 100% based on the arrangement of the song, and perceived volume is extremely different from metric volume, from measured volume. LUFS -9 for a hip-hop track is going to sound substantially quieter than an acoustic singer-songwriter with an acoustic guitar and a vocal only mastered at -9.
Yeah.
Acoustic guitar and vocals only mastered at -9 is going to sound way too loud and distorted compared to a hip-hop mastered at -9.
No, you're right on that.
So I
feel like that's where the battle of like same genre.
Yeah. So Ian Smith on Twitch says, you can get no drum songs to -9 though. Yes, you can.
Yeah, you can. I've gotten them to -5.
Yeah, we can do it even louder. But the problem is when you don't have drums, it's going to sound substantially louder because the dynamic difference without drums is way less. Because remember, LUFS is the dynamic difference. It's the valleys and the peaks. And if you have drums, there's lots of dynamic difference from the top and the bottom. But if you don't have drums, your dynamics are already significantly lower. So if you do -9 on a song with no drums, it's going to be perceived way louder, and you're probably going to destroy the dynamics in your song. So here's the thing. So in this mastering thing that we did with Braden, the thing was, okay, he got it to -9 or -8, whatever we did, -9, -8, and then I played it back. And it was like, oh, right, the parts with no drums sound great. It sound banging. And then it gets to the parts with the drums, distorted, no sort of transient, just totally destroyed.
Yeah.
Sounds like a Metallica record in the 80s, you know? Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of the vibe of metal, though.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the point is, and for example, you brought up a really great example of jazz or classical music. Now, it's very normal to go -15, maybe even lower.
Yeah.
And very rare to go more.
Than -11. Like -10 is loud.
-10 is really loud for classical or jazz.
Yeah.
But it also depends on the jazz, too.
I mean, you heard the project. I don't know what kind of jazz you'd consider that. I feel like that's very modern, sexy jazz, but very classy at the same time.
Yeah, so I think that there's definitely a lot of nuance in this. Like, so what we're trying not to do is make like blanket statements, because the principle is kind of you want to match volumes and have consistent volumes.
But that could be based off of perceived volume at the end of the day.
Yes. The principle is you want to have consistent volume. And I would say that's more about perceived. LUFS is the measured way of trying to measure volume. And the theory is you want to have -9. If you do -9 LUFS on everything, it's going to be relatively consistent. Practically, I don't think if you have -9 on everything, the perceived volume is not going to be the same.
No.
It's not going to be the same.
No. Like, it's kind of funny. You hear about people clipping and all that kind of stuff to get loudness. I know Bob does that a lot. And I know Bob mixed this jazz album. Did you ever see the file? I don't know if I know you heard the song, but did you actually ever see the mix file?
I did not.
It looks like a sausage. It's a brick wall. Bob is really good at brick walling while maintaining dynamics and punch and balance and everything. And he's able to get it loud without actually being loud.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. And that's at a mixing standpoint, because even his Loudmaster is really like pushing it a little more. But even if you were to take his limiter off, it's still the same. So the crazy thing is, like, you can master for loudness at any specific number, but Bob is delivering mixes that are significantly low on the loofs count, but feels really loud.
Yeah. So I think that's a good example of principle, theory, practical.
Yeah.
And we're going to go into the next one, because I don't want to spend too much time on just that. The next one is a really good one as well. And I'm going to ask you here to try to break it down in these three categories. Is EQ always EQ before compression?
No.
So that the theory is always EQ before compression. What's the principle? Why would that be said?
All right. Principle, I guess in a nutshell, if you were to actually EQ out some frequencies that are a little bit annoying or standing out or maybe poking out due to compression, you can actually minimize the effect that compression has on it. It's still going to be brought out, but you can actually lessen its effect. Not only that, but certain compressors respond to certain frequencies a little more than others. So if there's a specific compressor that you like, but the source itself is just a little strong in a range that compressor reacts to easily, you can also dip it down a little bit. And because of the compression, it won't actually sound like you dip down too much. Now, if you were to EQ after compression, all the annoying things that were there are just going to be brought out even more. It's going to stand out even more. You're going to have to do a lot more work on the EQ, and it's going to sound worse, if not, better. But it really depends on the source audio. But EQ on the way into compression, it's really to counteract what the compressor is about to do to your source audio.
So that's kind of like the principle. The principle is we don't want ugly things to come out even more because of the compression. So if we take out the ugly things, like you said, if we take out some of the ugly stuff before we compress, it can make the post-compression sound better. That's kind of the theory.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're talking about practically speaking. Is that a for surefire way?
No.
I don't know if we need to say anything beyond that.
It's one of those.
Yeah, you're right. You're exactly right.
Yeah, I wish I can give a more elongated answer, but the reality is no, because if you were to always EQ before compression, I'm just saying that sometimes you're actually cutting out what actually gave life to the vocal. And the compression is then just going to bring out whatever's left. But then you'll realize that the compression is actually enhancing whatever's there, and you're going to start finding other issues. Then it's this constant battle of like, oh, if I fix it before compression, now you're affecting how the compression reacts to that source audio. So every time you make a correction before the compression, you're really just changing the rest of the chain because it's reliant on being before the compressor, which is why for me, I actually have Pro Q3 before and after. I use Pro Q3 a lot. It's not because it's the best or anything. It's just really convenient for my workflow. But
honestly, it doesn't sound better than anything else. It's literally just the graphic interface. That's why I pick it.
It's not even that for me. I just like the free points. Like you can add
Unlimited
how many
points.
Yeah. Like if I wanted to add 22 EQ points, I can. And it would not affect me whatsoever. If I wanted to EQ the left channel only, then I will. If I wanted to EQ the sides or the mono or whatever, it doesn't really matter. It can do any and everything I want it to do, and because of that, I don't really care what your emulation does. Pro Q3 can probably do it too.
Oh, this is a good one. I just thought about this one too. Is be one fist or whatever it is, right? It's different for everybody, but some people say one fist away from the mic when recording vocals, or 20 centimeters away, or a thumb and pinky finger distance away from the vocal mic. That's the theory.
That's the theory. The practical is different.
The principle. What's the principle? Let's go to the principle.
Right.
Why would someone say you want to be 20 centimeters away from the mic every time?
All right. The principle is basically going into mic design on a very, very basic reason why. Capsules are meant to receive pressure being pushed back and forth, right? But if you're right on the actual capsule, not only do you get a low end buildup because of the proximity effect that your distance is having on the capsule, but you're starting to distort the capsule because it's actually pushing much further than it was designed to initially speaking, unless it's supposed to be like a live mic where you're right on it, gobbling it up. But most mics are not meant to actually have that much, distance between you. Like you're not supposed to be half an inch away from the grill. But some mics are actually built to do that. But here's the cool thing. Depending on the mic, depends the actual distance. The principle is to not overload your mic, distort the signal, or have too much low-end buildup. The idea is that the mics are usually designed to be about 4 to 6, maybe even 8 inches away from the actual source. And that's where you'll get its actual intended response. But now let's go to the actual practical.
So I think great answer. I'm going to give a little wow for that. Great answer. I think you're right.
Wow!
Wow! if you're, that's all. By the way, that sound won't be recorded into the podcast.
Well, I
it's
just
literally
made the
just the
sound.
stream. So
And I
once
hope I
again,
was in
join us on
key.
the stream. Twitch.tv/DK Mixes. You can come and actually be a part of these podcast recordings. We start doing these every week now. So
Yeah.
but I love that answer. I think that's a really great answer. Practically speaking, is 20 centimeters away going to work for every room, with every mic, with every preamp, with every person, with every vocalist?
No, one, everybody's got a different vocal range. I love a baritone, but a baritone needs to be a little bit closer because low end does not capture well at a distance unless you're going for a tight low end.
What if I say this? Like, even within that realm, baritones singing into a specific mic, do some songs you want to be closer and some songs you want to be further?
Yeah, exactly. If I want something intimate, move in, baby. Oh,
Even
move
within
in.
that specific example you gave, it's still, there's going to be situations where that doesn't work.
Yeah, exactly. And the reality is, a lot of metal, like for all the rock guys out there, a lot of metal is like literally somebody screaming right into the face of the microphone, and it's because they want that aggression to come through. It's not because it sounds better. Like, for instance, System of a Down recorded Toxicity and a bunch of other records on an SM7B. Why? Because it could handle the pressure, and it has a built-in gap between the grill and the actual capsule. So it was intended for you to gobble it up. Some mics are intended for you to be right on it, but then if you're recording on like a C12, like, yeah, usually you'll see a lot of studios and engineers that own the C12 like be like, hey, can you give it like about 8 inches of distance? Because it was designed for that distance, and it has this magical sound. But if you're a very intimate, quiet singer, you got to get closer. That mic's not going to pick you up, and you're going to be picking up more of the room.
Yeah. And so, again, practically, there's no rules on that. But there is a reason why that theory exists. So what's another thing? I do think, for example, we can say this about analog gear. Analog gear
Always makes everything sound better.
Yeah, I hate to bring this up because I said in the last episode that we really talked about analog, I said this is the final end-all episode that we ever talk about.
You know what? We can't talk about it then.
Yeah, no, I think it's important to bring up still is exactly what you said. Because we even had someone on the Discord channel, link in bio. If you link to Discord is available, you can find it on either of our Instagrams, or you could find it on the what is it? The bio
thingamajiggy on the screen thingy of
the
Magic
description
Box.
of the episode, or on the podcast description. If
Yeah.
you go to mixedmusicpodcast.com, you can go join the Discord link. But anyway, someone on Discord even this week said, I heard about this thing called analog gear, and then it can make your music sound better.
Oh, I remember that.
Remember
I responded
that?
to that too.
So exactly, yeah, and I did it as well. So I
Yeah.
think this is a good one. Like, what did you say? You said analog gear makes everything sound better.
No,
What
don't
is
think
the
I said that.
Well, I mean that's the theory, right?
Yeah, the theory here
What's
is
the
that
principle? What's the principle?
All right.
Why does that phrase, or why do people
the
even
principle
think that?
behind the certain gear, I'll say certain gear, because certain gear is also designed to make things sound disgusting, like the plasma rack. That thing sounds awesome, but it's disgusting.
Okay.
It's basically a distortion rack.
But why do
but-
people think analog gear
It's
is the way
because
you have to do it?
It's because of this. So it really stems from a culture switch from tape to digital. If you think about it, anything in its infancy is not going to be as good as its prime. Now, digital in its infancy was really the 90s. So about 30 years. Holy shit, 30 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
90s
Think
was
about
30
it.
years
The
ago.
90s was 30 years ago. Yeah, but the 90s, you had a lot of people recording on ADAT tapes and all that, and then you had people who were really starting to see the growth of Pro Tools coming out. Cubase was a thing for MIDI, but it didn't sound great. It just didn't sound great. Recording to tape sounded significantly better. Running through actual hardware versus the emulations sounded so much better. So there was this big stigma starting out that stemmed from the infancy of the digital DAW age, right? But nowadays, the reality is this. We think about like how much we spend on our gear, right? And we think that it's going to make the world better. For instance, many people say that the U87 is the best mic, which it's not. It's not. In fact, it was everybody's poor man's U67. It was like driving a Chrysler 300C, flexing it like it was a Bentley. You don't have a Bentley, stop buying that car. So, people always say that the gear is going to make you sound better because a lot of the people we looked up to always said, well, a real 1073 sounds so much better than the emulations. A real 1073 sounds better than the Unison 1073 from UA. But the reality is, I know for a fact, I've talked about this with Tizio, Chris Brown's engineer. He uses an Aurora 1073 for the longest. And he even said, he's like, I don't care if it's vintage or not, as long as it sounds good.
So I think there's actually a lot of points that you talked about. And I think there's a lot more than what we're going to bring up. But some of the principles are, you're right, when digital first came out, it didn't sound as good.
No.
Which is part of the stigma, and you brought that up. I think that's a reason. I think it's also a reason of nostalgia. People have a hard time adapting to new things.
Yeah.
So when things don't sound new, even if it's better, people are still going to be weirded out about it. So there's a stigma around that. There's a stigma around like the so many other things.
Yeah, think about the whole issue back in the day was like, oh, there's too much noise in tape, so we made ADAT. But ADAT is not really a consistent medium that we can just easily store and manage files with. So now we're doing it to hard drives. But all these different things were in pursuit of simplifying the workflow and making things better for the professional and the creative, making things more accessible, more cost effective. But now that we're there, now that we're in a medium where nobody cares if you record to tape, let's be honest, none of your listeners care. They're not going to ask you if you did or not unless they're that one guy in the garage of their parents' house. But the reality is this.
The one guy in the garage.
I'm just saying, like, I literally have had one person tell me, he's like, yo, that sounds like you recorded it on tape. Like, oh my God, you had to have used the studio, didn't you? And he literally did live in his parents' garage.
I had the opposite
and that was the
scenario.
one guy in 12 years.
I had an opposite scenario. I'm not going to say who, but the dude was the biggest jackass I've ever met in my entire life.
Oh, I remember.
And I did a hybrid mix. And I went over and I was listening to demoing some speakers that I didn't end up buying because the dude was such a big jackass.
That was the only reason you didn't buy him.
That was the only reason why I didn't buy him. And he's famous being around here and
for being a jackass.
For being a jackass. And the only way that he's relevant in the music industry is because apparently he pays his way into investing into a lot of different audio companies.
Which is not a bad way to get involved with a brand, and money
Anyway,
tends to open doors.
We're shit talking, but it doesn't matter because nobody knows who we're talking about. But anyway, so I went to this guy's place. And the first thing, so I did the mix hybrid, and I played a mix off the speakers to kind of really hear something that I really know, that I created. And I mixed it, again, I mixed it hybrid. There's definitely a lot of analog going in on that mix. He's like, oh, this mix was digital, wasn't it? I can tell. The dude, I don't know. First off, I don't know a better way to say, hi, my name is this, and I'm a jackass. I don't know if there's a better way to say that in that scenario. Also, the dude was speaking out of his ass. There's no way to tell. There's absolutely no way to tell.
No, I've had people who tell me I sent them a mix, and I don't know if you know, I sold my summing mixer. My Ripper Neve, yeah.
Really?
I sold it. I sold it to Bryson.
You did?
Yeah, and he loves it just as much as I did.
Okay.
But here's the funny thing. I actually still really love the sound of that summing mixer. You know what's really sad and funny at the same time? None of my clients gave a shit because they couldn't tell.
No, it's true.
None of my clients gave a shit. So here's the thing. The practical is non-existent with analog gear when it comes to mixing and mastering.
Yeah, analog gear doesn't, practically it doesn't make any sense.
Now, for recording and for commercial professionals, and I say commercial professionals because if you're booking your location to clients, not yourself, you are not the service in this case. Your location is the service.
If the value is not who you're booking, but rather the location,
then yes, the location, go ahead, buy gear. Buy all the great gear because guess what? For them, it does make a difference. They want A1 quality going in. But I'm just saying, if you can only get a good mix because of an analog piece of gear, you're doing it all wrong and you're probably not that good.
Amen. Also, practically speaking, I've talked about this before. Analog equipment is technically inferior.
No, it is. It has higher noise floor. There's no recallability. Every time you get for instance, you could take your computer with you on vacation if you wanted to. Could you not?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. You can't take your TubeTech CO1B or your Stereo Shadow Hills or your whatever with you to France if you needed to for a month because you decided to leave the country for a month and do a recall. and then your client's pissed at you because you can't do the recall.
And I think the part of the reason why this is fear as well is that I said this on a previous episode, but if you're really interested about this debate, analog versus digital, there's a podcast called The Mastering Show with Ian Shepherd.
Ooh.
And it's like episode somewhere between 5 and 10. So it's one of the first episodes. He talks a lot about this. The reason why SSL became so popular is because there's the least amount of components in every single channel that it took away the least amount of top end.
Yeah.
So the whole analog warmth, the reason why things sound warm when going through analog is because those physical electrical components that are in the signal chain literally take away top end. It's making it dark.
Not only that, but think about it. There was levels of distortion all the way through. SSL also made their name because in taking out more components, they lowered the distortion through the channel, which is why, and this I was talking about this with somebody the other day. Yes, the preamps on like the SSL 4000 were nice, but after that, they're whatever. They're vanilla, whatever, doesn't matter. But the only time you ever hear about people talking about, oh, you know, if you really drive an SSL is when they slam all the faders to 12 and then push the master fader all the way up. And they're like, yeah, you could really hear the distortion of the SSL. It took that much level to distort the console. Like, it was such a clean console. It's clean. Why does everybody want an SSL? You could just use your DAW. And the reality is, I'm not saying that, you know, something through a console doesn't sound great. It does. But it's also extremely not practical. The theory is great. The principle is great. But the practical is non-existent.
I think that also in the wrong hands of someone that doesn't know what they're doing, analog can make your mix worse than anything digital.
Oh, absolutely. I literally had this conversation with somebody the other day. He sent me a song to review. And I was like, oh, this sounds very different from your recent mixes. I didn't want to say like bad or good right away, because I just wanted to kind of pry some questions, because he told me he was planning on buying some gear, but he didn't tell me when he was buying it, but he was very eager for me to like listen to this mix. And so it kind of felt like he bought a new toy, because I know how I am when I buy a new toy. And sure enough, he told me he spent about 10 grand. He bought himself a bus compressor. He bought himself a stereo bus EQ, both of them from Manly. Not saying that they're bad at all. He got a mastering massive passive.
These are really, really great.
Yeah,
actually.
he got a mastering massive passive, and he got himself a Varimu. We're
Really
10 grand between two pieces.
Excellent.
Oh my god, I'd love to own that. Even though we're saying all this about analog gear, yeah, I'd still love to have one.
Which, by the way, please stick around. If you're like, I'm going to shut these guys off and I'm going to leave them a 1-star review because they hate analog gear, please don't be that guy. We're about to get to the point of why we're talking about why it is good. Yeah. We're about to get to that point. Yeah. I promise. So hang in there. Don't leave us a 1-star review yet. Don't top off the podcast yet, because there's a reason why we're saying this stuff.
Yeah, we're getting to it.
So how
but his mix really just didn't sound good. So when he told me about the gear, I was like, hey, you might want to back off what you did. I really hear the changes you went after, but you might have pushed too far with it.
So it's true. You can push things too far with it. So again, knowing how to use it, I think it's okay for people to struggle with it and save up money to get something and do a lot of research before.
Oh, you see all the gear I have.
I think that's better.
You see all the gear I have. I love gear. Trust me, I plan on buying more, but that's because I'm not saying that I'm good at it or anything. I'm just saying that I actually really do appreciate gear. I know it's inferior. I know that it's not practical, but there's certain pieces that bring inspiration.
So going back to it, why is analog gear so good though? Sometimes the way that it distorts, the way that it removes top end and kind of can de-harsh things and warm things up.
Oh my god, yeah.
And even a sense of nostalgia. I would even say a sense of nostalgia from audience members and mixers when it starts to sound like something that they've heard in the past tonally. I do think going through components has a different tone.
Yeah.
It is a different tone and can spark memories, can make things sound better for that specific instance. I think that analog gear is great because it expands your palette and expands your potential ways of doing things. For example, I still don't think digital distortion or digital saturation sounds as good as analog saturation because it's really, really, really difficult to emulate the randomness.
Yeah.
The randomness of actual analog saturation distortion.
But I really like the Saturn plugin and Spectre too.
But plugins are getting way good at that.
They're getting good, but not only that, they're getting into a realm of precision distortion. Like, that's what I like about Saturn specifically. Like, I actually like to throw Saturn on each one of my vocal buses, lead, backing, doubles, and ad-libs. Why? Because I want them to saturate in different sections a little bit differently, some a little more than others. But if I wanted to lower like the ad-lib tracks, maybe I want to push that saturation a little more in its range so that it can still stand out just enough, because it's the one thing I want to shine in that range. And saturation with analog gear a lot of times is very broadband, unless you're using the Vertigo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna do something now. Here's the opposite. So we've been talking about things and we've just been shutting down concepts. Let's talk about something that's good.
Okay.
So for example, this is a good one. This is one of my favorites. I bring this up all the time on Six Figure Home Studio, which is a great podcast. I think it's now called Six Figure Home Creative. They say on the show. Brian Hood says on the show, a trip to IKEA will make you more money than a trip to Vintage King or to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
One more time.
I went to IKEA the other day.
Yeah, there you go. A trip to IKEA will make you more money than a trip to Guitar Center.
Yeah.
What is the principle behind that?
All right. So as somebody that, I'm sorry, guys, I don't listen to your podcast. I will, I promise. But it's not because of anything. It just, I like listening to many podcasts. I just haven't checked it out yet. That's pretty much it.
Really good
but all right, going off of that, I'll say why I went to IKEA the other day, because I just built my new studio and everything. It's now up and running. But I made a small Instagram post talking about the number one thing I thought was most important, and I didn't talk about the number two thing. The number two thing was my clients want to feel comfortable. They want to see the aesthetic of the room and this and that. IKEA got me some great curtains. It got me a great table. It got me great everything else that helped create a vibe and a comfortable space for my clients to exist in. The number one most important thing for me was acoustic treatment. But if I go to Guitar Center, I'm going to buy a guitar. I'm going to buy a guitar amp that does nothing for me. There's no ROI in that. But you know what there is ROI in?
Return on investment.
Yeah. You know what does have a good ROI? Lighting. Ambience. Like, and the crazy thing is,
figurines that are cute.
Yes, Pokemon. Like those. Sully.
Sneakers that you display and
Goopy neck, Big Bird.
Goopy neck, Goopy neck, Big Bird. That's an inside joke that only the people on the stream get. So come join us on Twitch if you're listening.
Soon enough, you will be Chopstick Big Bird.
Chopstick Big Bird.
But yeah, I think having gone to IKEA, I had 2 sessions yesterday. I had a remote one and I had an in-person one. And the cool thing is, the first thing the guy said when he walked through the doors was, wow, this is really cool. This is comfy. I feel like I'm at home.
Yeah. So the theory is that clients will appreciate and value the way that a studio looks
and presents
itself more than equipment.
And you can spend a lot less money. You can spend an equal amount. All right, if I bought an Alasia mastering EQ for like, what is it, $6-7 I think right now. You know how good I can make my studio look and feel, and actually like walk in, have my own espresso machine and everything for the same amount of money. For the same amount of money, you could attract a much wider audience than that one guy in his parents' garage.
And honestly, I will say, if you have a client that comes to you because you have a specific piece of gear, I'm gonna bet 9 times out of 10, I would put physical money down 9 times out of 10 that client is a red flag. That is the definition of a red flag client.
What if that piece of gear is your monitors?
Okay, are they renting the monitors or are they renting you as an engineer? Because if it's
no. What if this client has never worked with you before, but they recognize your taste? Rather than they booked you because they said
now your value and their trust is that you have the same monitors.
No,
They don't trust you,
not
they
the same
trust that you have
monitors.
the same monitors.
I'd say, whoa. I've talked to a lot of engineers, but not a lot of engineers know about Strauss. But this guy knows about Strauss.
Oh, then
this guy must be. He must know what he's doing. See, if it's like he has a TubeTech CO1B, well, so does everybody and their grandmother.
Well, then you could do, but then that would just attract a different audience. That wouldn't. There's not one piece of gear that would attract more than another.
But that's my point. See, some gear does help you with your work,
in a
commercial sense, but also in a personal sense, like. Some gear just helps build trust. It's not the TubeTech. The TubeTech is just commercially requested. Okay. It has nothing to do with your skill.
Okay.
So buying gear,
commercial would definitely matter.
Yeah. But something like if somebody came to your studio and said, "Oh, wow, you have ATCs, but they're like the smaller ones. They're not the big boys." I'm usually not seeing that as a red flag. It's usually when you have Augsburgers that it's a red flag.
Or like, bro, you don't have. Is this artist that's sipping on lean and it's like, bro, you don't have the 1073 by Neve? I heard that was the best one. Oh, and the C800G.
No, that's a red flag all day long.
The C800G. Yeah, that's right. Right. So anyway,
there's certain gear that's always a red flag.
and I will say personally, commercial or personal or hobbyist enthusiast, aesthetics. 100% way better investment and better ROI than any sort of gear ever. That's the practical. It's made me more money. It'll make you more money. I promise you right now.
Yep.
Spend money on your aesthetics and keep it clean. Pick an aesthetic. Go on Pinterest and just
hold
paint
on.
a bunch of like studios that inspire you and looks that inspire you. Just get it. Be full on creative. What's his name? Bobby on Queer Eye. The
I have
interior
no
designer.
idea.
Be like Bobby and just think like Bobby. And the interior design is important. And also, he's the hardest working one on that show.
BLB?
BLB?
Be like Bobby.
Be like Bobby.
But no, I had to put my hand down on that one. I can't say foot down because nobody can see my foot. But I had to put my hand down on that
What's
one.
that?
Spend the most money on treatment. Fuck your aesthetics. If your room looks great and sounds like shit, which I kid you not, you know that I actually quit working for a contractor over this. I was actually building and designing studios for a lot of like major players, multi-platinum, Grammy award-winning artists and everything. But the reason I left,
Hold on, you want to drop more? You want to drop more?
No. I'm just saying. I say this for the impact of the reason I left, which was he builds aesthetically beautiful studios. They're amazing. They look amazing. They sound like absolute garbage. I kept having to install SSLs in rooms with no treatment, glass walls. Like he'd build a ceiling cloud, but it was all acrylic. The room sounded horrible. No matter how good the room looked, it sounded horrible. Now, here's the cool thing. He was selling that service to many artists, people who are not professionals. If you are trying to take this seriously and you're trying to be a professional, invest in your acoustic treatment before you invest in anything else. Dami, one of our interns, spent the other day, Saturday with me. We spent, I think it was about 4.5, about maybe 5 hours total, just measuring the room, making sure that every frequency point was actually being like accounted for. The cloud, a specific drop from the ceiling to get a certain frequency that was being an issue, accounted for. It took us an hour to hang everything, but it took us 5 hours to do the measuring and everything and make sure that all things were right. And as soon as I sat down in my chair, it was such a huge difference that I told you I was having really big issues getting anything to translate in that room, even with just the panels hung and just generally. It sounds so amazing now in there. So treatment, then aesthetics, and then like 30 years down your career, tube tech.
You know what I've heard as an excuse? I've heard people say, oh, sometimes buying of gear is great because it motivates me. It becomes my motivation to then work harder. It's becomes my inspiration. Have you heard that before? People say that.
Okay,
like,
I'll say this. I'm kind of that.
Inspires me to make more music.
I'm kind of like that, but it's not about make more music and it's not about inspiration. It's rather acknowledgement of my work.
So it's like, yeah, okay, cool.
Look, I've been doing this
reward.
for 12 years, and it's like every year I buy myself like one significant piece. And the cool thing about that for me is, you know what? I really do appreciate this gear. I know how to use it really well. I don't need it. Like the Subsynth that I bought, the Subsequent 37, I bought it for my birthday. That was a birthday gift to myself. It wasn't because I'm suddenly going to make music. How much music have I made with it? Like, honestly speaking.
Playing on it a lot. For
No, I love
weeks.
doing talkbox with it. I still do.
Yeah.
Like, I actually got asked to add talkbox to another person's song the other day.
That's dope.
But here's the thing.
That's a lot of fun.
I bought it because it was a reward to myself for the work that I've done and the amount of things that I've done. But I've also showed you this in the past, and everybody knows when they work with me, like I have a lot of outboard gear and I'll use specific pieces at specific moments, but I don't rely on it. In fact, my new mixing room does not have one analog piece of gear. It just has my Lynx Hilo, my UAD satellite, some focal monitors, and some Bear Dynamic headphones, and that's all I need. And if I can't get you a great master or mix in that, then I'm the issue.
I think that's a great way of putting it. So on that note, I think it's a great time to bring up. Thank you to our sponsors, Isotope. We love you, Isotope.
Yes,
and
I do.
We do use Isotope. Maybe our last example will be with an Isotope one. But if you're interested in getting some Isotope product or learning more about Isotope, check out our link. which is iZotope.com/MM podcast. One more time, that's iZotope.com/MM podcast, where you can find a code to get 10% off any purchases on iZotope from iZotope, or to extend your normally you have a 7-day trial period for their monthly subscription bundles. But if you go to iZotope.com/MM podcast, you will extend the 7-day trial to a whole 30-day trial period. So go ahead, use that link. Selfishly use that link. It helps us, supports us whenever you do. We're really grateful for iZotope.com. So, all right. So now we're going to get, I think the last one, this is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
All right. iZotope. Ozone is for mastering. Neutron is for mixing.
Okay.
What's the theory?
They just have specific tools that are tailored for specific works, but the practical is, why can't you just use it anyways?
Boom. Oh, so maybe the theory would
the
then
theory
be,
is
there's mastering plugins and tools, and there's mixing plugins and tools.
The only real difference between them is they're going after a specific job, but that doesn't mean that you can't use it. Like, you know what, one of my favorite things to use during mixing on a specific on like, let's say the drum bus or something, is the master rebalance. Because sometimes I get sent tracks where they have the kick and the 808 on the same track, and Master Rebalance actually does a really good job of getting the 808 out of the way of the kick, or vice versa. And I'll just slap that right on the track. Yeah, it takes a lot of CPU and all that, but like, I'll render if I have to. But on top of that, the harmonic distortion on Ozone is a little bit different than the one on Neutron. And sometimes I want the one that's on Ozone instead of the one that's on Neutron on my vocal track. And then sometimes I want what's on Neutron on my master bus. Like, just use it anywhere. It sounds great either way.
Great. And I think this is a great way to end. And I want to say this before we end, too. It's like, we said a lot of things that could potentially upset somebody. These are just opinions, and you can have your own opinion.
I drink Kool-Aid.
And it's great. Yeah. And more importantly, if you have a visceral, emotional reaction to our opinion, please see a therapist. All right. Happy mixing, my friends, and stay saucy.
Please see a therapist. I'm just saying, like, that's still very, very true. Like, I have to give myself my own check sometimes where it's like, I should not be as worked up as I am right now.
Yeah, and it's funny to me, and the reason why I bring that up is we did end the episode, so we're good to move on to the next one. We're gonna do one more short one. That one went a little bit long. I think that was a good one, though. I think
it was a necessary one, but...
Man, yeah, no, as soon as we started talking about analog gear, there's a bunch of people that left the Twitch stream, so that's why I decided. And it's funny, the more that I do content, and the more content that I have, the dislikes, the hate, the
follows
comments,
and unfollows.
No, not even the unfollows. Well, I guess you can include that too. All of that stuff has such very little impact on me. In fact, I could say that I take dislikes on YouTube as a
like
compliment as well.
Yeah.
Like, I take that as like, damn, I'm doing a really good job. I'm getting people to dislike my shit. Like,
so I forget what I posted in my stories the other day, but somebody or was it stories and reels or something? They commented, they're like, wow, that's really gay. I'm like, only on Tuesdays. And they responded, they're like, what do you mean? I'm like,
don't worry about it.
I'm just saying, if you find me on a Tuesday, like, let's have a drink.
I would say that's probably the hardest thing. I think a lot of people are definitely not ready to be famous, because I think a lot of people would break down. And hold on, wait a second. That made it sound like I'm inferring that we're getting more famous, and
no, we're not.
We're not. We're
Dude,
definitely
we're
not
still
famous.
Completely nobody. Like, I'm literally
we're
in
not
socks
nobodies.
right now. I'm nobody.
No, we're still somebodies. We're still.
No,
we're still
I
people.
like to hide in my little cave of my new little studio is literally my little
cave. What
cave.
about all the people that really like us and respect us and look up to us? If we say that we're nobodies, then that means we're disrespecting their taste.
No, we're not disrespecting their taste. I'm saying, hey, reach out to me. I'm human. I'm your friend. Like, I actually really appreciate the fact that you want to listen to me and have any attention given to me at all. Yes, I've done a bunch of things, but that doesn't mean I'm some high and mighty douche.
Gavin says, I like you guys.
I like you too, Gavin. And I'm still really mad at that you didn't say hi, dick.
Half the time.
Half the time. See?
I really like and look up to you guys. Thanks, Brayden. Appreciate it. Anyway, we're going to move on to the next episode. What should we talk about next? Let's do that. I like to do one technical one and one like business psychological journey through the soul one. What do you want to talk about? The importance of content creation. I think that's a good one. Because we literally, that's fresh on my mind from our lesson with Braden. I lurk and lose stream from time to time, lol.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Brady says, I lurk. Oh. I lurk and lose stream from time to time.
Well, you should lurk later. I'll be there at 6. Oh, yeah.
Are you supposed to be wearing glasses?
Oh, I'm supposed to be wearing glasses.
But your vision's not that bad. You can still read it because the comments on the screen are actually really small.
No, they're small. Like I can see it, but I can also see that my eyesight is now hazing. I've actually worn glasses since I was a kid, but just like when I was a kid, I used to bury my glasses in the dirt because I didn't want to wear them.
But I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, compared to me, if I take off my glasses,
wait, hold on.
I cannot see. Like I can get this close to the screen, I still can't read it.
I'm about to learn how.
Okay, now I can read it. Like now I can read it like that close.
Hold on, I'm gonna do this trick.
Like I can't read any of the comments.
Yeah, I can see your. Watch, check this out. Does it look like this? Put on your glasses. Does it look like that?
Yeah, like blurs it up.
Yeah.
Well, except worse, way worse.
No, yeah, I focused up on your glasses and I locked the focus in place.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
But dick.
Anyway, all right. I think there's a bunch of comments that were said. Sorry we can't really respond to every comment during the podcast because the podcast is going to a worldwide audience of people outside of the scope of streaming, but we'll try to answer them after the podcast as well. Dude, did you ever have a desire to move to Seoul for music? Korea? Me?
Me? I love soul music.
No, Seoul as in the capital of Korea.
Oh, Seoul. Or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sorry.
The capital of Korea.
I think I just got booted out.
Because I can't stop thinking about it for myself, but I have no idea how I could pull it off.
I think that's mainly a you question.
So I've actually, so once I get more American credits, I actually do want to move me and my family over to Japan where I can do remote mixing work from Japan. I could do that now, but I still think I have a few more credits that I should take advantage of. But yeah, like when I can go fully remote, I'll probably move to Tokyo, but not necessarily to Seoul. A lot of these K-pop artists and C-pop and definitely not J-pop because they're doing their own different thing. They're doing their own whole thing. But they outsource a lot to America for a reason. They want that American sound. So if you want to do K-pop, it's okay to stay in America as well. Despite being a Swedish white boy, I think the K-pop thing feels really, really, really right to me. Like the whole approach of how they do everything. K-pop is actually really, really killing it. Asia in general, just like the culture is going to be way more respectful. I don't know. I don't have much experience with Korea, but in Japan, which is a different country and different culture, the rappers are so respectful. They pull up on time. They don't smoke. They respect you and they pay on time. All of these things that American rappers, for some reason, stereotypically just cannot do. All right. Let's see. Questions during the stream. I guess tons of outboard gear, this is from Gavin, I guess tons of outboard gear make it look like you've been doing this for a long time. Haha, that's a good point. Lou brought that up. So a client feels like they can rely on you in your space because they associate with you legit productions. That makes sense. Yeah.
See, it's a trust thing at the end of the day.
It's not the highest ROI, but there is slight ROI.
And that's where you get, like, if you get specific pieces, you're going after a specific market. Like, for instance, 1073, C800, and Tube Tech CL1B, you're obviously going after hip-hop.
Okay, I think clients want to walk into a studio and have it feel legit, whether console or outboard gear makes a better mix or not. It does make a client feel like they're somewhere professional because that's what they see in movies and stuff, but I think overall home decor can do that in a better way these days. Yes, Braden Flint. If you're doing mixing or mastering, I think it's super awesome. First piece of analog gear. I think talking about the Fusion, the SSL Fusion. A friend of ours uses the Fusion. The Jeff Jackson uses the SSL Fusion.
Actually, Baines uses 2 of them.
Yeah, and Jeff Jackson specifically said he only likes the sound of the stereo widener.
Yeah, that the drive is not that great and it's noisy.
For him. Yeah. I've also heard other people that say. What did Baines say?
Baines uses 2 of them. He originally had 1, and then that
does
one kept failing. He does use the drive and the stereo widener and the EQ, and he actually taught me how to use the de-esser. That is like a secret trick on it as well. And on top of that, there is a bus compressor built into it. It's fully featured and uses all the features. But
I don't think there's a compressor. That must be behind the scenes.
No, there is a compressor.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's a unlockable like button hold thing. You know what I mean? It's almost like a macro.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not engaged if you don't have it engaged, and it is engaged when you do engage it. It's one of those things, but there's no label for it. But if you read the manual, you'll see how to engage it, and it's basically an internal G bus.
Interesting. I
Yeah.
didn't know that. That would actually make it way more useful.
Yeah.
But
you
Gavin
have
says,
you
I
have
don't know
little
why
to no
people have
control
a
on
hard
it.
time accepting that. In general, the more recent the mix, the more modern the gear, the better it sounds. Haha, like nothing from the 70s sounds as good as BTS mix or something. Modern stuff with modern tools just sounds way better, period. Yeah, and this is the reason why labels make such a big deal about owning the master recordings. They don't really care about owning the songs. That's why Taylor Swift can go off and re-record her album, right?
Yeah.
And it's because if you remix, again, I've said this before, and I think, Gavin, and you've heard me say this before, I love Michael Jackson or Earth, Wind & Fire. I know Gavin is obsessed with Earth, Wind & Fire. If you go back and remix Earth, Wind & Fire or Michael Jackson to remix it to today's subjectively better standards, I will kill you. I will make sure that you die painfully because I have
Somebody get me the masters. I need to remaster them.
Because
I want to look them in the eye when I do it.
Because there's definitely nostalgia, a sense of an emotion attached with tone. That's why I think mixing will never fully go AI not for a long time. First, partially because there's not a big enough audience for mixers and post-production for there to be enough money made.
Not only that, there's
investment,
also
because
the
technology
creative
does
side.
exist. But I like straight up though, if you change it and make it sound better to modern standards, I will be so upset. Like, I love how September, the horns are just crazy, and by the end of the song, the horns are just not even playing the right notes because the dude's dead. Because that was like his third take playing notes that high. Poor trumpet player in the background on Earth, Wind & Fire. I want that. Like, there's a tone. There's a vibe, and don't ever take it away from me. All right. Someone asked something about which acoustic panels did you use?
Oh,
703?
well, it's a combination.
Is it 703 or 801? Which one?
703, and it's Roxel Safe and Sound. So for my clouds, I used Roxel Safe and Sound, and for the bass traps, and for the corner panels, I actually used, drum roll please, Oralex.
I can't drum roll into the microphone. Hold on, wait a second.
Oralex as the filler behind the bass panel and 703 in the front. And the reason I used Oralex is because we had, I want to say 10 of those. No, we had 8 of those corner bass trap things. You know which one I'm talking about? They look like they're supposed to be mass-loaded corner traps. But, yeah, I just took the bass trap panel, mounted it with anchors, and then opened it up like a door, put the RLX in there so that it actually could fill the corner, because that's a lot of mass anyways. Oh my god, I'm just so glad you took the turtles away. That was... oh.
And his name is John C.
Yeah, so I just did that for the corner traps. But yeah, it was just a combination of things. But it sounds so good in my room now. And I'm not even done with it.
Also, during the stream, Savage Creamly, thank you. You are actually the first person to send any type of a cheer. I've had a lot of people subscribe to the channel, but thank you so much for cheering.
Thank you for your patronage.
Thank you for your patronage, Savage Creamly. Appreciate you for the follow and for the cheer. We are 5 followers away from reaching 400 followers. If we reach 400 followers, at least I will embarrass myself and dance for 2 to 3 minutes straight. I will try to get Lou to do it with me, but this is my channel, so I'm not gonna. Oh, we are 4 followers away. Brandon Flint, subscriber.
Thank you for your patronage.
All right, so if we reach 4 more followers, then I will dance and embarrass myself for 2 minutes, and I will try to do my very best to convince Lou to do the same. Lou, just do it. It's like, think of it as like a mental health thing.
How about this? I'll be checking my Twitch if they can get me to 100, because I'm at 85. I need 15. Okay. So I'm sure there's enough people here that can get me to 100.
There you go. At twitch.tv/mastered by Lou. All right. Actually, I can just type it in because I'm the mod.
Yeah, last week I had to do like a baby stream because the room wasn't ready. Well, the room didn't exist last week, Monday. But the A room was fully booked up. And then the week before that, the room was fully booked up. So I was like, great.
Thanks, bro. Can you rename the one you use, please?
Rename?
What is the rename? Hold on.
Oh,
Steezy the architect says, thanks, bro. Can you rename the one you use, please?
EDG Acoustics is who I called for them because I just didn't have time to build them myself this time. But I did have to do some modifications. I will say this. Full disclosure, I don't think it's bad to say it because it is what I was given. The panels were well made, well shaped and everything. But for some reason, they wrapped the backing of the panel in plastic. 2 layers of plastic. Which is not a breathable material. So what I did is I had to take a knife to my panels and cut them open from the back, and then I'm gonna have to rejoist them myself. So I got a really good deal on them. Yeah, but you know, maybe have that conversation before. Yeah, they're good guys. They did a really good job. Their turnaround time was less than 24 hours.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Senpai.
Oh no!
I'm getting good at
No,
these sound things.
I need you to do the top right one.
Oh shit! Son of a bitch! And his name is John C.
You know what? I need to play Smash soon because I have my John Cena character. And then I need you to play that when I win.
All right. Are you good at Smash?
Oh, I'm really good at Smash. I don't know. Oh, you have not played my Bowser. You have not played my Bowser. So remember my friend that's indestructible?
Yeah.
He's become destructible because of my Bowser.
Ooh.
Yeah, so much so that Henry has been fighting him. And he only managed to kill him once. And then on my first try with my Bowser, I killed him. I was like, ooh.
I think, also, I did download a new game on Switch.
Which one? Wait, no. Mario Kart?
No.
Oh.
Although that's on my list. But
Legend,
I feel like
Pokemon
I spent
Legends,
like 2 hours on
Arceus?
Mario Kart, and I'd only played if friends came over. Last time, so who came over? Matt and
his girl.
Villanueva and his girl came over. And by the way, you and Anna need to come over for dinner one of these Sundays. We do
Yes.
Sunday dinners. And anyway, we played Mario Kart, and I just destroyed him in his own game for like an hour straight. Like I won every single one. We played like 4 tournaments, and I won first place easily every single time.
Actually,
And I don't
Matt's
even own the
Kirby
game.
has been losing to my Bowser too.
No, I'm talking about Mario Kart.
No, I know, but I need to fight your Min with Bowser.
Okay, I see. All right. But anyway, we're getting good. We need to do one more episode real quick. What do you want to talk about? What do you want to talk about? Any audience members right now? What are we going to talk about? I think we should talk about, yes, DK on the Mix Bitch is the best sub alert on Twitch.
He misspelled it. It's not spelled M-I-X. It's spelled M-I-T-C-H.
DK on the mix, bitch!
Also, if you want to know why Lou and I are doing so well at the podcast, I think this will answer your question. This is kidding. I'm like really pulling strings. I'm really trying to get ways to like use the soundboard that I have installed. Okay, should we mix in low volume or high volume? I think the answer is both.
Wait, are you talking about relative to your DAW or relative to your monitors?
Relative to your mom. Oh!
But what if she doesn't mix?
I'm really just trying to use my soundboard. That's literally what I'm trying to do.
Oh, wait. I have an idea.
What's your idea?
I will pull it up. It's in my photos. I have one that you can use the Ubu on.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Bruh.
All right, we're gonna go into the next show. I hope that this Twitch is. I think I'm getting better at being entertaining on Twitch. And you know what? After doing this for a while
I'm
now,
ready.
I think I'd rather be Twitch famous because as an artist or as some sort of like influencer, if I have to go on tour and go physically somewhere, it's just not as scalable as just like sitting in my house and reaching millions of people by sitting in my house doing what I would have already done anyway. Like that's way more scalable and intriguing to me than having to go on tour and stuff.
Oh, I actually just got notice of my first amount made on Twitch.
Good job, senpai.
Why?
I heard a lot that mixing in low gives you the ability to hear high frequencies better than mixing loud.
You know why? It's because your ears didn't fatigue.
Or mid-range.
That
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Look up. I'm gonna do you a favor. Look up Fletcher Munson curves.
Yeah.
Fletcher Munson curves. That's the reason why you mix quiet and mix loud sometimes.
Now, I know when we talked to Jesse, I don't know if it's during the episode, but I know we had a conversation with him where we were talking about, monitoring, and he talks about how for low end, he monitors loud. For top end, he monitors quiet. And that's true. Honestly speaking, like I've done that before myself before you mentioned it, and it was kind of reassuring that I wasn't the only person that kind of found that as useful. I've also seen people do this, weirdly enough, and it's not for me. Everybody has a different way of going about it, but honestly speaking, just try not to fatigue yourself. Tizio recently went on an interview where they asked him about taking ear breaks, and he talks about how he'll mix for 15 minutes, then take a 15-minute break, come back and work on a different section of the song, then work on that section for about 15-20 minutes, whatever he thinks is appropriate, but tries to keep it short. Goes, takes another break, and then comes back. And it's because if he keeps working on the same section for hours, he lost perspective on that section and how it relates to the rest of the music. I think whether you're monitoring loud or quiet, I think it's really important to not go for a long amount of time. That's why a lot of engineers will say they don't like mixing when the client is around. It's not necessarily that the client is annoying or the requests are bad or
No,
good
they're
or whatever.
definitely annoying. No, I'm
No,
just kidding.
fuck
That was a
that.
joke.
But
Especially when
like
Gabby
my main
comes
thing
over.
is that like clients don't want to take a break. They really don't want to take a break, even if you're charging a flat rate. And so like 10 to 20 hours is no different in their pocket. Like they don't want to take a break. And the funny thing is, you've already lost perspective. And that's the thing. A lot of artists, they get you talked about this last time too, about it's really the insecurities that pay us, which is a sad way to look at it. But I experience that all the time. Anytime a client is very hands-on with their work, they're very insecure. And because of that, it takes much longer to get the job done. There's usually a lot more decisions that aren't maybe made in good faith of the end result rather than their creative result. But it's because a lot of times they've heard the song so many damn times throughout a day, throughout a week, throughout a month, that any change is a bad change. And then when you're actually in the mixing session, like they've lost perspective. Sometimes a fresh set of ears will do a better mix than, one that's heard it 1,000 times over. So monitoring loud or quiet, just take breaks. And trust me, even a 15-minute break will give you so much more perspective than sitting there for 3 hours.
Also, we're like, you know what? I think we're okay with one episode this week of recording. We'll do more like Q&A. Please ask us your questions because we'll be online for like another 15 or 20 minutes or so. We're just not going to record another episode. I think I'm going to call it a day today. We're already like over a month ahead. And
I think we're like 2 months ahead.
well, almost 2 months ahead. Not quite 2 months ahead, which is really great. So this episode that we just recorded today is not going to come out for like another month. But I honestly just like having a good time on the stream and making fun of us and each other. And
Wait, can I make fun of you?
yeah, please. Dude. Don't even try, dude. The way your personality is, if you make fun of me, you're the one that's gonna hurt the most.
I know, but I gotta try. Just because it's gonna hurt doesn't mean I shouldn't try.
I hear a lot that mix. Oh, hold on.
I'm trying to find something.
Steezy the architect says, "Yo, how would I be able to?" That's not how you sound like.
No, now you gotta read it like that. You gotta read it like
You
that.
probably sound way cooler than. Yo, how would I be able to keep in touch with you guys when you guys are going to be live again on Twitch? You guys are dope. Well, I mean, you're
follow and subscribe. That's one.
Well, at least follow. I think.
I don't know
subscribe
how
would-
this works. I know
Yeah,
on YouTube
follow.
you had to like subscribe for the
Join the Discord.
notifications.
Join the Discord.
Oh,
You'll
yeah.
get notified on Discord as well.
Yeah, we always post it in the general chat. I know yours is like an automated thing. Mine, I have to remember to do it.
Discord, as well as just following on. Like if you have the Twitch app, and you just leave notifications on, it'll notify you when we go live.
Yeah, I'm still figuring out. Apparently, there's a way to do an email blast. So if you're part of my email list, you'll get an email blast once in a while. But I'm still figuring out how to automate that.
Oh. Milani Blackbird 404, thank you so much for following. We are 3 followers away from doing an embarrassing dance.
So could I call her Raven?
What up, Caden? Come join us on Twitch, Noble Trigger.
Wait, where's Caden?
Caden, come join us on Twitch.
Hey, Caden, what the hell are you doing there?
Yee! All right, we're just doing Q&A. We just recorded a podcast episode. Also, hold on, wait a second. Hey, we invite someone right now, random audience member, first person to accept. I'm going to call... Okay, actually, Gavin. Hold on. No, I'm going to actually volunteer Gavin. I'm going to end this Discord here.
Gavin, you're being
Gavin,
volunteered.
you want to talk to us right now on the Twitch stream?
You can redeem your high.
I set up some software, so now I can actually like FaceTime you basically, and you can be on the stream with me. Do you want to be on the stream with me and talk? It'll be way fun. I promise it'll be way fun. Do you want to do that? Come on, Gavin. Come on. You want to do that, Gavin? Come on, Gavin. You want to do that? Just join us on the Twitch. It'll show up. It's actually a really cool thing. You can keep streaming on your computer, and then we could talk from your phone. Or we could talk from your computer if you have a webcam.
Keep your portfolio on FilePass. You can actually send out a link that is private, and you can actually embed it onto your website. You can stream it on any mobile service, and it's full resolution. It's not a degraded streaming service or anything. It's full res, and you can actually see what songs people are clicking on the most. It'll actually show you the day they clicked on it and everything. It's a really cool, useful resource. I put it on my website, and I found out how many times people have listened to specific mixes of mine.
There you go. I have 56 people that follow my DK Mixes playlist of all the songs that I've worked on, which is funny because it's a really bad list of music, partially because not everything that I've worked on is on there. Also, it's like 10 hours of music, so nobody's ever going to go through it.
I don't post everything for one reason. I don't know if I want to post everything I've worked on, but I want to portray more of what I'm down to work on, if that makes sense. Like, I like working with many different clients in many different genres, but there's obviously, like, you know, certain ones that stood out to you, and I like to post about those in my playlist.
Yo, hold on, Mixed Medic, real important. This is really, really important. If you're going to use FilePass, go to mixedmusicpodcast.com, go to sponsors, click on, or hold on, wait a second. Do I have it on here? I do. Click on that link. Because if you click on that link, unfortunately, it's no discount or anything special to you, but I make money. So we make money from FilePass if you use that link, if you decide to go that route. And FilePass is really dope. Lou and I both use FilePass religiously. All right.
In fact, if we work together, you only get your bounces through FilePass. I'm tired of airdropping everything and then people being like, hey, can you text it to me? I don't know where it is.
Who wants to come live with us? I shouldn't just leave that open because I want to go live with someone that I know personally. Because or else I don't trust everybody. I'm not going to lie to you. I love y'all. I don't trust you. I don't trust you that you're not going to start swearing and get me banned and start playing DMCA music on the back of the phone. Yeah. From your phone. But yeah, this is oh, I'm just gonna do it anyway. Hold on, wait a second. Cause I've been wanting to like test this feature out. Create a room.
Oh my god. This is the funniest thing I've read all day. I'm just gonna read it out loud. This sounds really bad, but it's also really funny because I did not expect it to go this way because it's posted by somebody who doesn't post funny things.
What?
A friend of mine has 2 tickets for Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Both are box seats. He paid $2,500 each, but he didn't realize last year when he bought them, it was going to be on the same day of his wedding. If you're interested, he's looking for someone to take this place. It's at Emmanuel Synagogue at 3 p.m. The bride's name is Rivka. She's 5'4", about 115 pounds, very cute, and is a good cook, too. She'll be the one in the white dress.
Damn.
Take his place at the wedding. I was like, holy shit. I really thought this was a genuine post when I first started reading it. And then I was like, wait a minute, what's going on?
That's funny.
It's sad, but it's funny.
Hold on, wait a second. I'm gonna send this link to Gavin. Come on, Gavin, join the stream. I'm gonna hold on. join my place, dude. Hold on, wait a second. Where's Gavin? Oh, there he is. Oh, hold on, wait a second. I'm going to do Braden too. Hold on, wait a second. Or we should do Mitchell, dude. I'm just going to send him this link. No way. Do you stream every day? No. Mondays, Thursdays, and
that's what it is.
Fridays. I have my schedule on twitch.tv/DK Mixes. I have a schedule. You can check out the schedule there. Gavin says like 2 minutes. 1 second, getting lunch. Lunch is for the week, Gavin. No, just kidding.
Gavin, I'm gonna start calling you Vince.
Wait, lunch? Isn't it 5 o'clock in Utah?
Hey man, we all live on different timelines.
Lunch on 5 o'clock? You mean dinner? That's crazy. But we're going to be on live for like 2 more minutes, 20 more minutes, 15 more minutes. And I'm trying to get someone on.
I'll be back on live at like 6.
What if we get like a bunch of people? I'm waiting for one single person to join. Please join this.
What if they're in a relationship?
What does that have anything to do?
You said you need one single person.
Oh, Mitch joined. Hold on, wait a second.
It's Mitch?
Streaming.
Mitch, I like how you always answer the phone with your nose up.
Where can I hear anything?
Mitch, hello, Mitch.
He can't hear anything.
No, you could definitely hear us.
No, he can't.
Test. Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Hello, can you hear us? Wait a second. Hello. Wait a second.
Hey.
Oh, wait, because it's wrong. Mitch, can you hear us?
Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay.
No, you
you
can't.
are on
Can you
Twitch
hear
with
me?
us. You are live on Twitch. Right now.
No,
So
no,
people can
he's
see-
live on Mitch.
Live on Mitch.
Oh, snap.
Hello, welcome to the DK Mixes Twitch stream. Are you
Oh,
playing?
wait, is that Smash?
It's Animal Crossing.
Oh, okay.
It is
I was about
Animal-
to say, you don't want this whoop ass.
So,
I think you don't want this.
if y'all know,
You want to catch these
This
hands.
is my friend Mitchell Bashford. Mitchell landed a couple songs with us, and you're an amazing producer, and is at home right now quarantining because you got COVID this last week. Did you know that?
Yep.
No.
And Mitch is amazing. And tell us all about your experience, what you've learned from the podcast. Basically, just like brown nose us for like 5 minutes for the sake of like everybody that's watching.
And then
right
just
now.
for clarification, Mitch didn't get COVID. COVID got Mitch.
Damn. Facts.
Factual.
Tell us a little bit about
Facsimiles.
you, Mitch.
All right. Well, podcast is amazing because I don't know. You don't really get to listen to like people who are working in the industry. Like, I don't know, just like speak their minds. I mean, you can on the Discord, you can like submit questions. I've submitted questions before that you guys have talked about. So I don't know. It's just great to interact and just get to know like what you guys do, what kind of careers there are in the industry, because you guys do a bunch of different things, like more than just like mixing and mastering. Like you guys like record and you run sessions and you're like working on
All
a
right.
label. I think
All right,
right
that's
now.
enough
like-
brown nosing. I feel
Shut the
uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable. All right.
No, you guys are
Milan
dope. I learned a
Blackbird
lot.
404. Thank you so much. Gonna catch you on the next stream. Thanks for coming through, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for coming
No
through.
problem.
Nelson, I can't join the call thing, Nelson. I was trying to I sent a link to Nelson as well, Nels.
Are you gonna
And-
kick me off or should I just get off?
I mean, you can get off, but I'm going to leave you to your version of the definition of that. So, yeah.
Bye guys.
Hey,
Love you
yeah.
guys.
Bye. We love you, Mitch. All right.
In the Mitch Studios.
It's we have Gavin about to sign on right now. We have Gavin about to sign on right now. Nels, come on. You don't want to join in. Mitch was in. We had such a good time. Mitch and I. I'm just going to like take the chat box off because the chat box looks really weird in this mode. Can't get it to fit quite right. But this is how we're going to be doing any like future like interview podcast episodes. Who else can we like? I just can't at the moment. Maybe we'll get Caden to come in. Because I'm not like prefacing anything to them. I'm just saying like, yo, just join. Just join.
Well, we got 3 minutes for them to join.
But the thing is, it's like a random link. So... What about Lige? Shit looks sketchy as hell. It really does. I'm really impressed that Mitchell was brave enough. He's like so brave. Like DK could have been hacked, but nah. I'm gonna just trust it. I'll trust it. Where's Gavin at? Where's Gavin at?
Gavin's hamming it.
It's all right. It's too late. It's too late. Maybe next time we'll get like other people on here. I think this is actually like a really fun way to collaborate with people on Twitch because you can add people on Instagram. You know how you do that? Mm-hmm. You can like add the Instagram thing. This is just a different way to basically do that, except specifically for Twitch. Oh my gosh! This is so embarrassing. We're just like waiting for someone to come through. Come on in, join us. Take my link and join in. Get in the link. Come on, Gavin, I'm pressuring you. We're losing followers by the second. Anyway, we're willing to do more Q&A. Anybody have any questions? Nels, ask us.
What color is your underwear? White. He has no response. DK asked for questions. I gave him one. He didn't answer.
Hold on, wait a second. Gavin is trying to get in. Oh, Macon's in. Macon.
Yo, what's up, Macon?
Welcome to the DK Mixes Twitch stream. What up, Macon?
What up?
Hey, Nels is in the chat right now. You are live on Twitch, and you are on the spot. Where did he come from? Nels says, where did he come from?
Oh. I swear I low-key thought it was a spam. I was like, wait a minute.
No, I promise it's not. It definitely looks like spam. We were talking about how it very much looks like spam, but it's definitely not spam.
I was like, oh god, they're gonna record my face and then put in a foreign ID.
Yeah, you're definitely good. It's definitely not spam. Welcome to the podcast or to the live stream right now. What do you want to say to the people that are watching this live stream right now?
That they should listen to the podcast. I've been listening to it the whole week.
Really? Nice. I thought you would say something like invest in crypto or some shit like that, but
I mean that too.
No, just work on your mental health. That's the most important thing ever.
Say that again. Say it louder for the people in the back.
Work on your mental health. That's the most important thing ever.
Facts. How have you been able to overcome your mental health?
Yo, I was actually listening to a lot of podcasts has helped me a lot. Not just what I do, it's just mental stuff. Like one of the things I learned today was that it's scientifically been proven that you choose to be happy. There's no like, I can't be happy. No, you choose to be happy with the things you do and your daily actions.
Amen. I'll clap to that. Always say I'll clap to that. Thank you so much.
Yo.
Good job.
That's dope.
Yes. Thank you, Macon. All right. And how has your soccer been? You've been good?
It's been pretty good, man. I went back and I was excited, but then I was like, man, I'm getting older and my knees are just not what they used to be.
Yes, I feel that. Although my knees are still fresh.
Oh yeah?
No, I'm teasing. I have no idea. I need to use them to find out. All right, dude. Well, we love you. Have a safe day and a happy day. We're waiting for other people to join on. I just sent people a bunch of these spammy looking links. This is how you're literally on Twitch right now. It's really cool. We're like kind of testing this out. I'm 3 followers away from 400 followers, and I'm trying to embarrass myself. All right, so
Yeah, send me the link. I'll post it on my Instagram.
no, we're about done. We're about to finish up. It's not worth it right now.
Oh, shit.
All
Well,
right.
this is awesome though, dude. You guys should like keep it good, like keep getting like random people all the time.
Exactly. This is how we're gonna do interviews for interview podcasts. But this is fun to kind of do, like bring people on at the end of every episode and just like talk.
Yeah, this is awesome, dude. I was with a friend, and you know how Lou, you like Yu-Gi-Oh, right?
Oh, fuck yeah.
Dude, my friend has. I just found out that my friend has a $15,000 card collection.
Wait, what cards does he have? It has to be first edition prints at that point.
Bro, it's so messed up that he has like the main, like you know, like the gods and Exodia.
Like Exodia, Blue Eyes, Dark Magician. He's
Yes.
probably got
Magician.
Cypher, Obelisk, and
all
Ra.
of those,
Yeah.
dude. First edition, and then he has other folders just of like 3 of each, just in case they blow up, and then he can sell all of them
God
and
damn.
still have a bunch of the first edition ones.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of hard because I was actually kind of thinking of having like a bunch of cards and then putting them in an encasing and then making that like you know how everybody has like the plastic acrylic just like single card holders. You know how people
Yeah.
frame their baseball cards into like an actual poster? It's just like them in equal rows and all that kind of stuff.
Ooh.
It'd be hard as hell to
Uh-huh.
have like all the main character cards as like just something in the
Oh my-
studio as like a poster card thing. But they're like the
That'd
legit
be
first editions.
So fucking hard.
Yeah.
That'd be so hard, dude.
Yeah.
Freaking I guess he like he's been doing it for forever. He's super in the community,
Mhm.
and I'm like, dude, I was thinking of buying it because I'm like, the only reason, because if you think about it, Yu-Gi-Oh is the only real card game that was in the shows. Like Pokemon's awesome.
Yeah,
it
but
was
that
like,
card game that wasn't in the show.
Pokeball.
Yeah.
Exactly. It was a true card game, and I'm like, you just need somebody to blow this up like Logan Paul, and it's gonna be insane.
No, the crazy
It's
thing
gonna
is
be
like I was
super.
talking about this with my fiance. I'm like, the main reason I got into Yu-Gi-Oh cards, period, is because I watched it on the show, and as kids, we
Yeah.
want to recreate what excites us. You know,
Exactly,
if you're
dude.
excited about like being a fireman or something, you're gonna go in your backyard and play like you're a fireman. Watching Yu-Gi-Oh, I literally bought Yu-Gi-Oh cards just to have the same cards, and when they'd pull them out in the show, I'd pull them out in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, it's a true card game. You know what I mean?
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like baseball cards, but like the true card game. So I'm just waiting for somebody to blow it up. Someone
Yeah.
famous. Someone
All
like
right.
Drake needs to just come out.
He
Oh,
just needs to get an obelisk tattoo.
we have a new guest.
All right, guys.
Oh, that
Peace.
sounds terrible.
Bye.
right.
See you guys.
Gavin, your audio is really bad. Hello?
Can you hear us? Did you stop moving?
Oh no, Gavin!
Vince McMahon.
What, Vince?
You don't know who Vince McMahon is? Every
Oh,
time I
the-
think
the-
of
the
Gavin, I think of
WWE?
yeah.
Sounds like the demon from the ring.
Oh my god.
I think it's your internet. It
You
sounds
know,
like you got really bad internet.
I'm not gonna
line.
lie. If what we're hearing now played in the middle of the night in my studio, and I had just turned off the lights and I was looking at my Pokemon, I'd believe it came from the Pokemon.
Yo, I'm gonna have to cut you out. This is the Exorcist.
You're gonna give nightmares to people.
I cut him out. I gotta cut him out. Oh my gosh. Where's it coming from? It's still coming?
No, not anymore.
Oh my gosh. I gotta exit out. I gotta.
Dude, the ring is coming through.
Oh my gosh, that was terrifying. Hold on, wait a second.
Wait, who's there?
Oh, what up? Now we have. Wait, why are you first? Hold on, wait a second. I need to be first. Braden
Yes.
Flint, what up? Mastered by Braden. Welcome
Yo.
to. You are literally on the stream right now. What do you have to say for yourself? What up?
What's up? Can you guys hear me?
You are literally on the
We can hear you. We can also hear ourselves. That's
I can
awesome.
hear. I hear myself as yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I
Yeah.
can hear you.
You guys-
Can you hear
This
us?
is so bad. Yeah, dude, your internet is lagging too.
Wait, can you hear yourselves now?
I cannot hear myself now, but I can hear you. I think your internet is really bad, dog. This is just so funny. I've never done this before. We're wasting so much time. I wonder how anybody is finding this entertaining. What if I just add the link to join this straight in the chat so then anybody can join?
How many people can
That's
you have
scary.
on at the same time?
That is scary. I don't know. A lot. I will leave. Wow, this is so bad. I will leave. Oh. That's funny. All right, I think we're going to cut it off for today. Thank you so much for joining. You know what's crazy is that I could join myself and have two versions of me. And, Lige. Come join Lige. Hold on, Lige is about to... Just do it. Please. Oh, someone subscribed on YouTube. Kelly Harris, thank you so much for subscribing on YouTube. Come on, Lige, do it, join. Who did it? Who joined? It's Lige! And we got Lige! Oh, and now we got Gavin back!
Whoa.
What up, Gavin? What up, Lige? What up, Gavin? What up, Lige? Oh, maybe I'll say the room quality. I'll lower the room
Do I
quality.
sound like Satan still, or
No, you
human?
sound great. It's working.
I
What up,
mean,
Lige? What up, Gavin?
if you ever call me at night
I
and
can't.
sound
I
like
can't
that
hear
over the phone,
DK or Lou if you guys are talking.
Oh, I think you need to change your output device.
wait, they have to select their own stuff on their end?
What up, Lige? How have you been doing, Lige? How's Atlanta? Coming back? Are you coming back? Is it for sure?
Oh wait, because you're muted.
Oh, am I mute? I'm muted. Am I muted now? I shouldn't be muted. Hold on, wait a second. Oh, wait. You should be able to hear me now. My bad, dog.
Yep. You can hear me?
Yeah, it's working.
Lige, come
Okay, there
back.
we go. Wow.
Yeah, Lige, come back. Yeah, so
It's
how are you?
Sequoia!
It's Sequoia the dog. Also, dude, is your hair more blonde than normal?
Yeah, I bleached it last month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. It looks great.
Thanks, dude.
It's
What
Lige
up?
again.
Lige, can you hear us?
Yo, what's up?
Okay, dope. So, hold on. We're going to go in order here. Also, this room is dark. I'm now seeing how dark this room is getting. I'm going to turn on one light. You only need one light. Oh, my. Holy Lanta. That just made the room so bright and orange. What up?
Sequoia is
What up?
going in.
Hey, we're going to talk about magnets, dude. You wanna? I could play magnets for everybody.
Wait,
Sure.
can you?
Is Nicole
It's
here?
released, isn't it?
Let me text her. She's just upstairs, like submitting playlists and stuff.
Nice. She's working. Anyway, Lige. Oh, that's a nice fan, Lige.
Yeah, no, this thing is nice.
Did you just touch it? Are you freaking
Yeah.
tall or is that ceiling low?
It's kind of low.
I like how you're like, it's kind of nice, and then touches it. I've never seen anybody do that with the fan.
Yeah.
I may have to dip out myself, though.
Okay.
Pretty soon.
We're gonna dip.
No worries.
Lou's gonna dip. Everybody say bye to Lou.
Bye,
You,
Lou.
Lou.
We'll see you. We'll see you soon.
I'll see y'all soon. I'm there on Friday, so I'll see y'all real soon. Or Saturday.
Wait, Saturday?
Yeah.
Back Saturday?
Yeah.
Holy fuck, that's fast.
Wait, really?
Yeah, because I got to be out, so.
Oh wow, that's fast.
Type beat. So I'll see
Wow.
y'all real soon.
Place in North Hollywood?
No, I'm still looking. If you know anywhere I could stay.
found a lot of good spots. I found one that's right down the street from the studio, like 4-minute drive, maybe like 20-minute walk.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Say that. Send it to me.
Yeah, I will. It's right next to a graveyard, so just saying, if you see something at night, it's not me. Yeah, no. Outside of that, it's actually like a really dope-looking spot. It has 2 pools and everything. It's insane. Yeah.
I took his mic off because he said he was leaving. So. No. So that's why I was probably really quiet. He'd lose voice.
No, it's all good. I could hear him.
Go ahead and keep talking into mine.
Anyway, everybody say bye to Lou. Thanks, Lou.
Bye, Lou.
We just finished recording the podcast live on stream, and now we're just mucking around. You know what I'm saying?
So tough.
Yeah. Peace. Bye, Lou. Lige is a success story for us because Lige is like, I think I'm going to pursue some other stuff, and left our studio as an intern and engineer of our studio to Atlanta. And then he's like, you know what? He called me so nicely. It was so nice. And he's like, bro, I think I messed up. I really had a good thing going in LA. And I want to come back. Can I come back? And I was like,
bro,
heck yeah, of course.
Yeah. No, I'm getting kicked out of my spot here, so it's perfect. It's perfect timing. I miss y'all too much, bro. No cap. Bro, hey.
Oh, Caden just joined in. What up, Caden?
Yeah.
Caden, you are on my Twitch. Welcome to the Twitch stream. Hold on, Caden. Your audio is not coming through. Do you remember Lige? Or Lige, do you remember Caden?
Of course. It's my dog.
Caden, welcome to the So anyway, we're going to talk a little bit. Gavin produced a song released by Nicole, under Nicole, called Magnets. Y'all want to hear it? Lige wants to hear it. Caden wants to hear it. Caden, we can't hear you, but we're going to, I assume you can hear us, so we're going to play it back. This was mixed by Sequoia, and hold on, I got to pull it up. Where is it at? Hold on, wait a second. N A B C D. Just kidding. Here we go.
You shoot electric through my veins. Your finger currents charging my brain. My wires crossed, I'm going insane. Short circuiting can concentrate. Your gravity, it pulls me in. It's a fight I don't really.
Can y'all hear it? Oh shoot, I left! I left. Oh no.
Hold me just a little bit closer. I wanna get to know ya. Hold me just a little bit closer. I wanna get to know ya. Hold me just a little bit.
Hold on, wait a second.
I wanna get to know ya. Hold me just a little bit closer.
My bad.
Like sugar, you go straight to my head. Our lips are magnets. When you want back, no need to resist. Our lips are
Nice. I accidentally cut it on accident. My bad. The stream kept going and kept playing the song, but I cut it from the stream. Lige permanently left. Also, what was the funniest thing? Nels says, Lige looks like the weird uncle who's way too good at playing saxophone. And then Mitch said about this song, Mitch Please Beat says, yo, this is wild. That's a great song. You can check that out. Search Nicole McMahon on...
Very great song. Very good song.
Very good song. Are you at Target, my dude?
Yeah.
Nice.
I gotta get my errands done, you know?
It's like it's not nighttime yet. Anyway, thanks for joining into the podcast, into the stream. Nell said, laugh my ass off. I know which Target that is.
Oh, you do?
All right. Thanks so much for joining the stream. Thanks so much for you, Gavin, Caden, Lige, and everybody else that joined in. Macon. Everybody, have a great week. Happy mixing, my friends. And stay saucy. Peace. All right.
Wait. Why did you invite me for this? Well, okay, I hope it works. That's funny. All right, peace.
Senpai. Senpai. Senpai.
やれやれだぜ。Bruh.